Guys, unbelievably on my last video, the thing that you were most interested in was my review of my KFC. Let me order, because I have come to get another one so I can report back. Hello, can I get a Zinger Tower Burger meal, please? So that's good news. That could almost be off the advertise. Oh, look at that, tomato sauce. Are you guys feeling hungry? Jesus, I am. Should we do a new channel called Mark Eats KFC? So, I've just finished that KFC. It was amazing. It was brilliant. I hope I made you hungry. Let me just give you the report. For a Wellingborough KFC, I'm giving that Zinger Tower Burger 10 out of 10. There was nothing that was wrong with it whatsoever. The Corby, on the other hand, I was missing the hash brown. I was also missing the tomato sauce. I also got the wrong drink. So, on the 3 items that they had to deliver to me, a burger, a drink and chips, they only managed to get the chips right. So a Corby's only for me a 4 out of 10, whereas a Wellingborough KFC, 10 out of 10, highly recommend it. Get yourselves down here. But I know you're also interested in property, as well as KFC. So let's go and have a look at the buy, refurbish, refinance property that's going to make us a whole ton of money. Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Mark Parham. I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and in this video we're going to be looking around this buy, refurbish, refinance and rent property that we've got going on in Wellingborough. So before we get into the video and before I do the full tour, if I could please ask you to give the video a quick like. The growth of this channel has been fantastic and it's all down to you guys liking and subscribing my channel. So thank you so much for all of that. And if you are a subscriber and you want to have a one-to-one consultation, have a look in the description. There's a link. Click the link, fill out a short form, and we can have a one-to-one chat. But without any more conversation and any more delay, let's go through this BRRR project and let's have a look at it. So let's start out the front, and as you can see, clearly a lot of the rip out has already started. The rendering looks all good and the roof looks all good. I mean, these are two of the things that we do check quite often before we look at properties, because changing a roof doesn't actually add any value or any perceived value. So we prefer to find things that have got good structural integrity and then more of a cosmetic issues. Those two windows, on the other hand, they do look like they're going to need to be replaced. But let's go in through the front door and have a look at what we've got. I'm just going to shut that door behind me. There we go. So we come straight into what is the living room, and it's a good sized room. It's not bad at all. Clearly it's going to need to be replastered. That fireplace is probably going to be blocked up, and maybe put some bespoke shelving or something into that space over there. But ultimately, this is a good sized room, and once the electrics are sorted out and the carpet's put down, bit of plastering, bit of painting, there's not an awful lot to do in this room at that point. So let's continue through. We've got a hallway. Oh, let's have a look at this cupboard quickly. Just an understairs cupboard, plenty of space there for hoovers and all that sort of stuff. Go through to what would be the kitchen. Now the kitchen is obviously ripped out, and you can see that the builders have been chasing in the new wires. Obviously lots and lots of new cabling, so I'm guessing that the previous cabling wasn't up to regs. So we've got all of that stuff being chased in, and I'm sure they'll fit a new kitchen very, very shortly. I was speaking to the builder who's running this project, and he said he's 2 weeks off completion. So that's quite a lot to do in 2 weeks, but I trust his judgment. He's been doing it much longer than I have. So let's go through here to the bathroom. Looking at the bathroom, I mean, the tiling is quite nice, but the bath is dated, and that's dated, the toilet's dated. Perhaps just change the fittings and suddenly this will look a lot better. The tiling may not need to be changed, but I guess we'll have a word with the client and see what the client's decided. And we've got another cupboard here. I can't really see what purpose that has other than being a cupboard. A little bit extra storage. So let's head upstairs. Now this is not a HMO, so we're not too concerned about making sure that we've got enough space for extra bedrooms or any of that sort of stuff. This is simply a buy, refurbish, refinance and rent property. And the aim on these properties is actually to get as much of your money out as you possibly can. So we have a fairly small bedroom here. And as I said, these windows, I mean, you might get away with them, but I would change. They're certainly old windows. Otherwise, we're looking at painting, a little bit of fixing up. Not a lot else to do in this room. We're not going to need to change the doors, put fire doors on, put locks on, none of that sort of stuff. And then we've got what I consider, I think this must be the master. It's quite a big room. Again, just repaint it, change the light bulbs. There's not an awful lot to do in here, to be fair. The boiler's in here, so I guess make sure that's all serviced and ready. But otherwise, good sized room this, and yeah, obviously there's cables everywhere and I won't touch anything. But yeah, good sized room. Then the third bedroom is here. Another good sized room, to be fair. So at this point, because this is a buy, refurbish, refinance, rent project, the whole point of it is the figures. We're not too worried about what we're going to be doing in terms of rent. We're more interested in how much of our money we're going to get back out, and then what ROI are we going to have on the end part that's left in. So I suggest we go back to the whiteboard, we have a look at that, and I run you through the figures, the purchase price, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, let's head back to the whiteboard now. So I am back at the studio, or we will be soon. I left the door open for some reason, so it's going to be nice and warm in there, isn't it, in the middle of winter? So yeah, no, let's go through the figures and see how this BRRR property comes out. So welcome back to the studio. Let's go through the figures. Let's start with the purchase price. It was purchased for £135,000 about a couple of months ago, and I put down fees of 5k. Now, there was no stamp duty because it was uninhabitable when it was purchased, but it was bought on a bridging loan, and bridging loans are notoriously quite expensive ways of financing these sort of projects. That said, because you save on the stamp duty, what you pay on the bridging loan is generally going to be about the same as you would on the stamp duty, so it works out about the same. So I wouldn't be too worried about these excess fees when you've saved on the stamp. The reno charge, we think it's going to be about 15,000. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 17, 18, something like that, depending on what they do with the bathroom. But it's in that sort of region. And the end value, if you have a look on Rightmove, you'll see that it's going to be anywhere from 175 to about 180,000. For a 3-bed in really good condition in the Wellingborough area. So that leaves a 20 to 25 grand profit, a really, really good deal, considering it's a fairly straightforward project. In terms of ROIs, it really depends what we do with it and what rent we get. It also depends on how much the investor leaves in the deal. So I'm not sure on what his exit is, and I'm not sure what he's going to rent it out for. So without that information, it's very hard for me to give you an ROI. But what I could say is if it was me and this was my deal, I'm probably only going to leave somewhere in the region of about 20,000 of my own money in this deal, and it's going to rent out for about £750 a month, maybe 800 a month, and that's going to give an ROI of somewhere in the region of 30 to 40%. So a really strong ROI. We'll wait to see what the investor actually chooses to do with this property, but I hope you agree that it's a great deal. It's a good amount of profit in a short space of time, and one that I would certainly do. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up. Please like and subscribe to the channel. All of you guys have been really helping me out with that, and I do appreciate it. And the next video will be coming out on Wednesday, and we'll be going and looking at the HMO project, which has got 2 weeks left to run, and I can't believe they're going to get it finished in that space of time. So we'll see you again on Wednesday. I've been Mark Parham. Thank you very much.